Why is this man causing so much indigestion, wailing and gnashing of teeth in Kansas City? His name is Stretch. He is an artist who also owns 2 restaurants, but some people can't get past the fact that he has tattoos covering his arms, his hair sticks up in every direction, and what galls them the most is the fact that he's been picked by Kansas City, Missouri Mayor Mark Funkhouser to serve on one of the city's most influential panels, the Tax Increment Financing Commission, which recommends which projects in the city should receive tax breaks. What does this man who refuses to even wear a coat and tie even know about developments, some insiders complain? How much does he know? Let's talk to him. Stretch, thanks so much for being with us on Weekend Review. Now, you had your first meeting of the Tax Increment Finance Commission this week. Did you don a shirt and tie and cover your arms and comb down the hair for that meeting?
I did not. And not only that, I wasn't wearing pants either, so it's kind of fun. A little breezy.
So what is it that you know about development in the city? Because one of the concerns is, God, we got somebody here not only who doesn't know anything about development, maybe anti-development.
I would have to say I am not anti-development. I'm pro-development. I travel all over the world promoting Kansas City and what I've done in Kansas City. I think I opened the 3rd gallery in the Crossroads. We've opened Grinders West, that has documented 100,000 people come to the Crossroads in the past year. We now have a music venue out back called Crossroads KC at Grinders that brings live acts, national acts, international acts to Kansas City. More people coming down and spending money in our district. Without any city money. We did the whole thing without any city money. I've developed a couple buildings downtown, put loft spaces. I've bought houses, refurbed the houses, moved people in there. So I know little about development and progress.
So did this all take you aback, the kind of coverage that has happened as a result of you being picked by Mark Funkhouser?
I had to think of all the projects that I've accomplished, and I'm really pretty amazed that Mark had cojones, if you will, to choose someone like me to come up there on that panel. I had to get elected through the city council, had to elect me, and both of my district people actually voted against me, which I find kind of weird since I've done so much for their particular districts. But the TIF commission does have power up there, but it can always be overridden by the city council. We just kind of make suggestions, basically. And I think I do have a decent background on development. I don't think it always has to be giant monster projects that change the face. You need infrastructure, you need small businesses. I mean, my little restaurant has 30 people employed in there. I mean, that's income, that's people, that's bodies.
Is geography a part of where tax breaks should go to? There's been concern on the Tax Increment Finance Commission that they've approved projects in the Briarcliff subdivision at the plaza in downtown. It hasn't gone to what was the original intent, more blighted areas of the city.
I think you have to have a balance. I really do. On large projects and blighted areas and we'll call the Briarcliff kind of places, everybody needs a break at different times. It just is per project, and it shouldn't be forced through anything. So I think you have to look at the project, look at what it's going to do for the vicinity, and then choose on that kind of project. Maybe it's not a full 23 years, maybe it's only 10 years.
But I saw one quote from you, I don't think it should be given out like candy, talking about tax breaks. So will there be fewer projects supported with a stretch on the 6-member Tax Increment Finance Commission?
It is 6 people, which I only have 1 vote on that, obviously. I would say I'm pro-development. I am all about developing Kansas City. There's other cities around the country our size that are just blowing past us. Pittsburgh just recently is moving right along. Cincinnati is moving right along. And I think you still have to dole this money out. You just have to be cautious on how it's given out and where the projects and what it's going to do for the community.
Councilman Ford said of you, as you were recommended and then supported on the council for this particular job on the Tax Increment Finance Commission, he said, I'm just wondering what kind of message this sends to developers and businesses. I'm afraid the message would be, quote, don't even waste your time. What's your response to that?
I think it's kind of humorous because before I got there, they've already shunned people away, Harley-Davidson, the soccer stadium. So there's projects already being looked at and then rejected for whatever reason, and or they've chosen to go other places because they're getting better offers. That has nothing to do with me. I think it falls on the council at that point, not just the TIF commission. I think when people come to the city, we have to be ambassadors, first and foremost, and say why we should move here. I moved here from Philadelphia. I open galleries. We bring people in, the artists from all over the globe to Kansas City. They want to move here. The people are fantastic here. The food is great. It's an easy city to get around, except for we don't have HOV lanes. We don't have synchronized traffic signals. I mean, there's things like that that they should work on internally to help bring development downtown rather than penalize the people that are here.
Now, you were one of the artists who were one of the early pioneers behind the Crossroads Art District, and also, by the way, one of the brainchilds behind the popular First Fridays Art Night event in the Crossroads. Here's a segment that features you from KCPT's Uniquely Kansas City.
I think a lot of people like to come down to look at people.
You walk through and you see people with spiked hair and you see people in tuxedos. I always like a dynamic like that.
First Fridays has been getting out of control down here in the Crossroads. Now, a lot of people don't know that art happens the rest of the month, and that's really what we got to stress nowadays down here. But we're getting between 6,000 and 10,000 people down here on the First Fridays now, which is great. They're learning and they're getting educated, which is the important thing. I don't really care if people are purchasing, but as long as they're getting educated and how to see and how to evaluate and learn about art. And it's not just collectors, it's young kids, it's parents, and it's kind of turned into a social event. It's like a big circus just shaking out down here in the Crossroads. So get out and come down and feel safe. I mean, it's okay down here. We don't bite hard.
Is that also true for developers?
Well, we don't bite, but we don't bite hard.
Now, tell me about in that same episode of Uniquely Kansas City, another one of your colleagues said, you know, this is a great place to see art in Kansas City. It is not a good place to be an artist. What does that mean?
I disagree with that statement. I moved here from New York, where I think it's really difficult. You know, I moved to New York in the mid to 90s, I guess, and there was so much activity here in Kansas City. I kept a studio here. I think it's real easy to make art here in Kansas City. We have the infrastructure of the great Harry Epstein's is a great surplus store. You know, we have the industry here for the welding shops, and you can get around real easy in Kansas City. I think for the type of work I build, it's fantastic.
But you moved out of the sort of the main section of the Crossroads because the prices of everything was going up so extraordinarily, even though the artists were the ones who started it all.
I didn't move out necessarily for that reason. I moved because I outgrew my space. Technically, I've moved every 5 years because I keep growing and so does my work, and I just need more and more space. I keep shooting myself in the foot, and Adam Jones told me that years ago. Every time I do something, I shoot myself in the foot because you build it, they'll come concept. And so when I opened the first gallery, then all of a sudden there was too much activity there. Then I moved over to 18th and Locust, and now we have the 2 restaurants and a music venue. So I had to move a little further away. So technically I'm actually outside of the Crossroads now just because that's where I needed to be to make my work and get out of the public a little bit. But it's also connecting the dots to the jazz district. So you get the different disciplines, you get in the music and the arts, and hopefully, you know, that whole corridor will happen, a creative corridor.
After you have finished your term on the Tax Increment Finance Commission, what's your vision for how Kansas City will look?
You know, I didn't even think I'd be having restaurants, 5 years ago, let alone being on a TIF commission. Hopefully there's a lot.
You could be mayor of Kansas City.
I don't really want to run for that. According to my assistant, Holly, I'm not allowed to run for mayor yet, and I really don't want that position. I have too much going on. And something else about this real quick is this TIF commission it's a volunteer thing. You're not paid to be on this panel.
Well, I was thinking of a six-figure salary of some kind.
You know, I'm not that fortunate to do that stuff. So it's a lot of time involved as well. So, when you get badgered, a lot of people don't realize that you're actually doing this for free and trying to support everybody. I mean, I was out last night supporting a TIF project at the Midland Scene Music, and everyone at my age level and around all came up and congratulated me and thanked me for having a voice of that caliber. Also, that demographics, they're voters, so they really, you take one for the team, if you will. But what do I see in 3 years, in 2013? I see a glorious Kansas City. No street plates, projects happening, no parking requirements downtown.
Okay, that is where we need to wrap up, unfortunately, Stretch. Thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to that vision. I'm Nick Haynes from all of us at KCPT, and I've even got a free T-shirt. Thanks for spending part of your weekend with us. Thank you so much.